I will warn you, I'm not really prepared really well because I wasn't expecting to do this. I just got up about 40 minutes ago and had a message from Randee that her internet was not working properly and asked did I want to do this for her. So I thought, well, I can, but I'm not sure what we're going to get out of it. So we'll wait to see if we have some more people come on before we start with what I have the little project I have planned for us. Well, I don't really have it planned too much. Hi, Bonnie. Um, be, because, like I said, really short notice, but I had a few thoughts, so I think we'll see what we can do here. But was a hi Lois was a rather unexpected can you? I'm like, well, sure. I'm not sure about what we're going to do, but sure, I can do that. So we do what we can do, right? But I'm thinking we will make a vehicle sun catcher. This is one I already have made. You need to have a long lead string, and I'll explain that to you in a minute, as well as a ring and whatever beads you're going to use. Not too many. You don't want to make a really long strand like you would with a normal piece, but it does. You can make a really pretty one. You don't want a really long strand because, let's face it, it's going in your car, and if you have to stop abruptly, your crystal's going to fly into your windshield. So a short one is better. Now, like I say, we're going to use, I think, some beads from out of our Galaxy of Gems to make this. So, and then I thought if we get done with that, I've got some of these pretty pieces like this. Well, you probably can't see them in the package too well. Now, if I can find the end, there we go. It's some of these rings like so, bells that you put a bead inside of. I figured we could make a pair of earrings using those. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a different way you can make earrings from these instead of just putting one bead inside. And I've always enjoyed doing this. So let's turn down because we have a few people on now, and I'll show you this more. Oh, come on, flip. There we go. We'll bring it up just a touch. Oops, too much of a touch. You're getting bigger, not smaller, dear. Ugh, sorry about that. I usually can control this a little bit better. More, less. Close enough. Hi, Linda. Do I like mornings? If I'm awake, but I slept in this morning, and so I usually am up by 6 my time, and when I got the message from Randee, it was about 7:30, and I was like, I first of all, I overslept, and then I got a message asking me to do something. So anyway, this is the one I've showed you that's already finished. And we have this long lead string on there and a relatively good size ring. Now, this is because these are made so that when you put these on your vehicle's mirror, you can slide this through here and then it'll notch up to your mirror. Now, some mirrors you're going to get a longer string. But, you know, the more modern mirrors have all that crap attached to them, so you need a little bit more lead string for it to go through. Now, I do this way because, heck, if you sell your car, you don't have to sell your crystal. You can just ease it off. So we'll need some string, of course, and we need a crystal. I have two different kinds here, an elliptical one and a ball one. And I think we're going to use the ball one for this since we're using our Galaxy of Gems. And I'll put this other one back in here. Set it aside. Now to hook these on, you can do one of two things. You can use a pinch bell, which I'm not overly fond of. You can make your own bell with some wire, or you can just string your beading wire through the ends and crimp it. So there's our ring. I mean our ring, our crystal. I'm not sure I'm awake yet. Here's a big ring. I got these from Randee. Let's take its price tag off. And this should go through easily. Bing, it does. Now, a lot of times I'll use a split ring, like a key ring thing, because it's usually big enough for things to go through it all right, and you don't have to worry about whether it's big enough or not. But we're going to use this guy. So maybe I will use a split ring. They're a lot less expensive. They're not as pretty, but they're a lot less expensive. And for that matter, since a lot of these things in here are gold, we'll just switch to gold. And I have some gold split rings down here. Now, the reason I'm switching this is, number one, a split ring only costs about $1/4 a piece, whereas that ring is $1. And you're not going to see it anyway because it's going to be up underneath your mirror. Why use something expensive when you're going to go up under a mirror where you're not going to be seen? So let's put this one back in its bag. And we'll go to gold for this particular one. Because as I mentioned, these are the earring pieces. We're going to use our Galaxy of Gems. So we're going to dump these out. Well, this one didn't come out, and that's all right because we're not going to use it. And decide what gems we want to use on this. These are pretty. We want something focally as well as, we don't need our magnets, as well as smaller pieces too, so that they have some cohesiveness. I don't think I want the little stars or the tiny moonstone. We don't need chain. We could use some of these smaller beads as in between other things. So, like I say, we only need a few beads, about the size of what my strand is here. So, my largest beads are these agates. So I think I will cut one of these off and use it as my more focally piece here. unless I decide to do with a little one in between, that's all we're going to need of those. So do we want to put a ring on here? We could, since we're doing the Galaxy of Gems, put quite a few of our planets on here. We can't put all of them on, obviously, otherwise we would have too many beads. Come here, you. Come up here. Need a little ring. Oops, that one's too big for the ring. Now, they did tell us that not all of the, oops, wrong package. Not all of the beads would fit on the rings, so I guess we need to find one that'll fit. Stones have varying sizes. Oh, that one goes just perfect, so that one will work. I think we'll have a carnelian in here as well. Let's see. This little guy was supposed to be Mars, I think, if I remember right. So we'll cut one of him off. We're going to have some night sky here. Let's see, are you already cut? Yes, you are. I used these ones on a pair of earrings we made with the stars. Now, we have enough, I think, for 2 more large, so we will have a an earth bead. I want one with both green and blue if I can, so oh, I see one I want. Two green, two blue. This one will work nicely. Yeah, I don't think go there. I don't remember what the crackle beats. Venus. And this one was supposed to be Uranus. And this is Neptune. I think I'm going to stay with Neptune here. And I think we're about the length we want, especially if we're going to put in any spacers, which we really should do. Just we'll see how long it gets with the spacers, and if I decide to keep the spacers they're using, or if I'd rather use some daisy spacers, which would be a little bit smaller. Come on, babies, all of you get back in your packaging so you're not in my way here. We'll keep it close by because we'll probably want to use it when we make our earrings, though I'm not sure because we don't have a really large one in there, I don't think. Let's see how big of this is going to be if we put the spacers in here. And the little round spacers, I think, are going to make it too long. Just a little bit. I don't want to push it, though. So we'll put those away. And I'm going to go get some daisy spacers. Won't take me but a second. Here we go. I keep my spacers in these test tubes. And I have a set for each color. And I actually have more than I have test tubes. I need to get some more. Set that aside. And I'm pretty sure that's enough. 1, 2, 3. And frankly, since the Saturn already has a spacer, so to speak, with its piece there, we don't really have to put spacers here, but I think I'm going to anyway, just for conformity. Uh-oh, we've got two different, these two are different. So let's switch them for these two here. Go back in place, guys. So here is our ring for way up here. Here's our crystal for down here. Oh, you guys can't see, I'm sorry. So let's move this all down where you can see it better. And we're going to make our threads here. And I think I'm going to get a couple of crimps out. And I think I'm going to get some gold wire out. This is 20 gauge German style. There's the end. And I'm just going to cut a hunk off, not even measuring it. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to make a quick little bell. We'll put our crystal on here. And we're going to bring her up. Oop, come on. Center out there. Okay. I want it to have a little bit of movement on the crystal, so I'm not going to tighten it too tight here. I'm going to bend this one up, and then we'll take hold of it, and we'll wrap it a few times here. And I'm only going to wrap it a few times because I want to make it this sort of decorative. So this one is going to come around, and I'm going to make a spiral on it. Oops, I didn't wrap it enough because it's hunking over to the side here. We want it either to the middle or to the back. think we'll bring it this way. And then I'm going to bring her down, and I'm going to make a spiral out of it in a minute. But first we're going to go up here and we're going to make a regular loop. Up and over and around. Bring her down, come up. Now we've got our loop for hanging on to, and I'm going to, but I think I should have made that the other direction, but we'll worry about that in a moment. I'm going to just wrap this down. To where it meets about here. And then I'm going to make a little spiral on this too and hang it and put it right in the middle of this so it disguises where they come together. So in order to make that, just take and this is one time I use my round nose. I'm going to make a little tiny spiral. Now, as you can see, when this comes around, it's not going to keep being round because the spiral is got a little bit of a loopy in there. So what you do is you take and you cut the very end of that off. Come on, baby, go in there. Hi, PK. Hi, Laverle. Hi, Cindy. Hey, Leah. Hey, Rita. Hi, Angel. Wow, a lot of people came in since I wasn't paying attention to the chat. I sound bad. Well, I still have that remains of that little cold I've had, and I just woke up. So, I just had time to go potty and get on. So, well, get dressed and get on. So anyway, then we start wrapping some more. And see, I still have a little bump there, but it was not as big as it would have been if I had just not cut that little bit off the end. So now we're going to get our flat nose and hold it while we spiral. We're going to spiral right up to where our wire ended, and then we're going to twist her up and put her right in front here. And like I said, I should have had this ring going the other direction because when our wire hangs, it'll turn us sideways here. So we will take our pliers, and you could do this by hand if you have enough room, but I didn't give myself much room to do this, and just turn it. So there we go. And now I'm going to cut a little bit of this one off because otherwise it's going to be a really huge spiral, and I don't want a really huge spiral. And then we're going to get out of my beads. And we're going to do the little round turn here. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a straight edge right there on the end. So we'll cut that off. Just spiral her over. She just curled in on herself, so I'm going to have to fix that. It's all right. Now we'll switch to our flat nose. See, that just it went back in place. Now this second spiral is going to sit in front of our crystal right here like that. So we have a double spiral here. We're not going to need these anymore, so we'll put them away. So here's our crystal, which will be down at the bottom here of our strand. Now, like I say, we have a long lead on this. I don't think this is soft flex I've got on this, which is weird because I usually always use soft flex. We want some to do our turn. We want enough for our twist. Oops, beads. No, get back over there where you belong. And then we need some for our wire, of course. So we need about about this much, which is probably a good foot. Now, we probably could get away without making our lead quite this long, but like I say, with today's modern vehicles, there's so much crud on the attached to the mirror with all the wires and stuff for your, like your OnStar and your various safety things that you need quite a bit to go around your mirror. So, probably at least that big of a loop, if not more. So that is approximately that length. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our crimp bead on is what we're going to do first. Then we'll go through our crystal here and up and through. So now we've got that on here. Want to make sure our wires aren't crossed, and they are, so there we go. Now I'm leaving a little bit of space here so we have a bit of wiggle. And then squish, turn it. Okay, quit it. The crimp is turning, so it's to the side where I've already crimped when I go to do it. My second crimp. There we go. Tug. Give it just a little bit more crimp there. There, that's better. Now I'm fairly sure that all of these beads will go on fine without cutting my wire off, but we'll see in just a second. So we're going to start stringing our beads on here. Oh, I think I will cut this right here, this extra, so that I don't have to worry about it having to go into my daisy spacers too much. Let's see, our little larva kite was next, if I remember right. Well, our planets aren't in the right order, obviously, but it's just the way it's going to be. Oh, hi, Deborah. And Becky. We've got lots of people on today. Yeah, that would be about the case, PK. Haven't really even had any drink of water this morning. Just jumped straight into stuff. Okay, so now, of course, this Saturn has a cage, so we have to go and come on, Saturn, roll over where your hole is at. There we go. Oop. There we go. Oh, I need one more crimp out. I forgot about that. So we'll get that, put this one on and get one more out. Now the magical crimpers don't crimp with beans with only one cord in. It won't hold it in place, right? So what we're going to do is we take this up here. Make sure I don't have an atrocious lot of extra. And put this baby on here and go through our split ring. Now, since the split ring will open, I could have just wound this through here, but I don't want to do that. So we want about this same length, which incidentally, let's measure it. I think it's like, yeah, it's about 6 inches. And so we want about 6 inches here. I'm not really picky about this length because, as I say, it's going over your mirror. It's not a definitive amount. It doesn't have to be specific. It's just got to be sort of close. So I think that'll do it. So the reason I haven't crimped this is because it needs another little bit of wire in it. So to get that other little bit of wire, I'm going to crimp this side. And because we're not got anything to go through now after we crimp this side, we're going to have to trim it off right at the crimp. So now we'll pull this up. Take your flush cutters and slide them right up to the crimp and then snap it off. So there is our top piece. And I think I tested that. Yes, I did. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this extra piece of wire and see, it's a good thing I didn't use the ball ones because we're about perfect right there. Rhonda. Hey, Rosemary. Okay, so now we're going to take this extra piece of wire and we're going to feed it down through this crimp tube. And it can go down to the lower bead too. That way it's got a little bit of more wire there, so it's not just floating where the crimp tube is. Now we want to get our crimp tube up just a hair's breadth because it's going to need that little bit of room for our crimping pliers. Come on, you go up there just a bit. Okay, there we go. Now get the in where you need it to be and slide it down as far as you can and then crimp. And we'll do our further crimps to get the rounded little ball. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. And this will keep your beads from sliding up too much. Which, if you didn't care if they slid around, you wouldn't have to do this one right here. But your beads will slide up your wire if you don't. So there we go. And now I'm going to just take my flush cutters again, slide them up this wire till I bump into the crimp tube and snap that last bit off. And there we go. She is finished. So there we go. We can just, so if you're going to put it on your car, you can just let this, both sides go over your mirror, and then take and drop your bead strand through, and this will snug up to your mirror. And I think that turned out really lovely. I like it a lot. Hope you guys like it too. So there we go. One pretty little vehicle type sun catcher. Remember, if you make these, you need... Now, if you're making it for your own car, you can always take your your wire out to your car, wrap it around your mirror, and see where you need to how your length. You might need it shorter than this. Heck, you might need it longer than this. It depends on how much gunk your mirror has attached to it. I say gunk, but it's actually, you know, OnStar and all of those wonderful things that are attached up there. What is the other one? I know there's two of them. I can't remember. But I know that one of my cars, my newer car, has like 5 or 6 wires, it seems, hanging up there by the mirror. And so it's like... So anyway, that's what that extra cable is for, is to go around your mirror. There's your bead strand with our planets. So that's the one we're working on. And this is my previous one, which I've been using to measure my cord. I may want to restring this. I'm not sure what kind of wire I've got this on, because it's definitely not soft flex. It's thinner wire than that. But this one is pretty, I think. It's got elephants and butterflies. But this is my older one. And this is my the new one we just made. Hi, Miss Tacos. Okay, so now that we've made this little beauty, I like it. I think my spirals turned out nicely down there. We'll pull out our earring wires here, and we'll decide what we want to use with them. Now, rather than just using one bead through the middle here, I am going to put one up here at the top as well, instead of just hooking the ear wire straight on, or the post, whichever I decide to use. I do have both things here. And then I'm going to use a little bit of chain, and I'm going to hang something down from the bottom of it as well. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Oh, sorry for that sniffle. Let's see if I've got I'm always afraid when I have a cold that I'm going to have to blow my nose on air, and that is just like, no. But we just wipe it a little bit. So anyway, let's get our beads back out, since we're going to use our gems again. And I think, again, our agate is our biggest bead, and we need a bigger bead for the bottom, because let's face it, see those prongs? Now, if you have a smaller bead, what you can do is take your flush cutters, but you'll need some heavy-duty ones because these prongs are strong, and you can cut them off a little bit so that they don't take up so much space. But since we're going to just use the agates since they are the biggest. We'll get 2 of those out. And now we want a smaller bead for up top and probably a smaller bead of some type that we want to make into a dangle for the bottom. So I want something, I don't want those. I want something small. And we want the chain out of here, because we need the chain to go between. Oh, we're using silver, aren't we? Guess what? We're doing multi-metal. So nah, we don't want moonstone. They're too tiny. Maybe. No. No, we got these already. Maybe. Oh, we got the lava stones too. I forgot about those. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our agate onto our piece here. What I do with the chain, there's the chain. It's different colored, but we're going to live with that. And what we're going to do with the chain, especially since we have a smaller bead, so we have more room, is already got this one spread a little bit. So we're going to put our chain in here on the prong before we put the bead in. Then we'll put, when we put the bead in, this bead has some damage to it. And it's fine. We're going to loop it around to the other side. But we're going to have to put the bead in first. But we got to decide what length we want this to be. I don't want it to be atrociously long, so I think what we've got right here is probably enough. And I do believe from the difficulty of cutting that right just yet that this chain is a stainless. Definitely. Wow, that's bending rather than cutting. Strange. There we go. Now I'll cut the second piece to match this piece. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, looks like 10 links. Yep, 10 links. So we'll get 10 more. So we have 2 10-link pieces. Get that piece out of there. Now, we got to decide which beads we're going to use for our top and which beads we're going to use for the bottom. Now, we need to decide on the bottom because we're going to, what color are going to come up here? Looks like it's going to be steel gray. So now I just grabbed whatever came up. If it had been a different color than this, we would have just used a different color. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to choose what beads we want on the bottom. We've got a number of different things here that we could use. These are really pretty. Not sure if I want the larvacite or the gold stone, and then one other stone with it. Then we'll put one up at the top up here as well. Well, Leah, that's the way it is done. Just hang it on a loop that your crystal will go through. Make sure that your ring and your crystal are compatible, because if it doesn't go through it, it's useless. So you need to just get a ring big enough for your crystal to slide through, and that's how you do it. Just a simple little ring and some extra cording for to swing it through on. That's how you attach it without, and so that it sticks around. When I first started making these, I just made the strand long enough and then I just tie a knot. That doesn't work real well because then it's permanently stuck there, you know? So anyway, back to our earrings. I think I'm going to use some of these because I think that it's nice to have this brightness. One more. Oh, stop hanging up so the loose ones can't get out. There we go. Now I got 4. Well, maybe we'll leave 4 because maybe I'll leave them for the top too. And then we have our lava or our larvacite and our goldstone. I think I'm going to go with the larvacite down here on the bottom. Then we need a couple of spacers since I'm using 2 beads. Let's see. I guess we'll use some of my gold daisies again. Ooh, that one's got a damage on it. Put that aside. Go with these 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our larvacite and then our spacer and our little pie cone. We're going to make us some little dangles here. Okay, so we're just going to, I don't need a Sharpie and I don't need these. Or bend near you. Now we'll get our bell makers out, but instead of using the smaller one like normal, I'm going up to the next one. And that's because this is going to go over the chain. So I don't want it to be too tiny to slide around on the chain as it sees fit. So we'll pull this up good and tight. There we go. Now hold on to this and wrap it up. Actually, I did want these. I think this is a stainless wire, and I don't want to cut them with my good flesh cutters. Okay, carefully tuck this little end in. We don't want to break our crystal. Okay, so there's one ready. And we'll wrap our second. No slidey. Tuck this baby in. Okay. So now we'll start putting these together, though we do still have to make the decision on the top piece here. But right now we're just going to start putting these two together. So we'll put our little chain piece on first. Then we'll take one of our beads and stick it in. It's going to argue with me a little bit, it looks like. Need it open just a hair's breadth more. Now that just went on. I'm going to pull it back off in just a second, but what we need to do is we need to take our dangle and put it through our chain. Come on, baby. Now get hold of your chain again. And you want to pull that off of there so you can feed your chain piece into it first. Now hopefully I won't get my head in your way, but I need to see what's going on here. Okay. Now slide your bead back into the hole and pinch them back together. Okay. Whoa, and it's on the floor. Just a second. Okie dokie. So here's what our piece looks like so far. And our little piece can move around here. So now we'll put the second one together. Just the same. Not just the bead, the whole earring piece. So now we got to open this one up. And this prong is shorter than this prong. I'm going to show you what I mean by you can cut a little bit off. I'm only going to cut just a touch off this bigger one. But just take your strong flush cutters, grab it where you think it needs to come off, and just snap a little bit off. There's a little bit right there on my cutter. So anyway, now of course we put our chain on. Then our bead. Put our little guy through its chain. Grab the chain. Bring it up to this side. Pull this back out. Get this last link inside our wire here. And then find the hole and back on. And push it back together. So there's those two pieces. Now we need to get some wire, and we're going to put a top piece on here. And we used this, so don't think we want to use this again. I think maybe we will put the little lava bead, maybe with the blue one still. That'll pull both sides together, so to speak. So you only need 2 of these little guys. I do usually use some sentence enhancers, but when I'm recording, I make it a point not to, because, well, then they dock me on Facebook. So we're going to put these little guys on here, up here on the top. Oh boy. So now what I need is, well, looks like these are going to be gold this time. Just going to get a couple of my older wires, straighten them up. This one really needs some straightening. So then I'm going to do my trick of cutting the heads off of these. Oops. One of these is obviously a little bit thicker than the other one. So now we've got 2 3-inch pieces of wire. And what we're going to do next is we're just going to do a regular see, there's only a couple of pieces here, so we can take it quite a bit. Get a couple of spacers out for this one. Go with the smaller ones here. Where are you guys? There they are. So this time we're going to go with the smaller. We don't need the bigger one because we're not going over chain or anything. This is simply the loop to attach it to our earwax. So we'll bring her around, and we're going to leave a gap so that we can put her on here. There we go. So hold her and wrap her. Let's see, come on, baby. Get hold of it good. Now, I'm only going to do 3 wraps here. And cut the other piece off here. And tuck it in. Oops, that pulled out when I tucked it. Felt it go out. It looks like we're pretty good up and down. So then we'll have the little lava piece, spacer, and the little bicone here. So there's our earring. As usual, with me, it's going to be long. And that's just the way I like it. Let's see how long it is going to, it is from there to there. Almost 3. And that by the time it's finished, it will be 3. And that's about the way I like them. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to use a wire or a post. So I'm going to leave that right there for right now. We'll get the other one going and then we'll make that decision. Up and over and around, and yes, this wire is stiffer, so it's not the same gauge as the other one was. Come on. Okay. Now comes that decision. Now I could have bent these over, but if I bent them one way, that has to be posts. If I bend them a different way, it has to be wires. So I have to make the decision of what I want to put them on before I bother with that. So good morning, Gina. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, hi, Cynthia. Well, we've hit our hour, so let's get our earring finished so we can say goodbye. Let's see. I need some gold. I think I want some gold posts. Maybe they'll be silver because the silver's easier to find. These are some interesting ones. We'll use these, I think. These do not have a hole. Come on, give me a second one. I hate these things. Goodbye. One of these days, I'm going to have to find somebody who likes these kind of earring backs and send them all to them. So what we're going to do is, since it doesn't have a hole, what we do is just go through the loop piece here. So we need to get our pliers out. And since this is this type, we want the loop to go forwards. And it's a small band, so we can just use our regular. Up and over and around. Bring her down, leave a gap so we can feed it on. And there we go for that one. Okay, so now we feed these on backwards to which is the front and which is the back. These actually don't have a specific back and front. There's nothing that makes it be one or the other. So just feed it on however you want. So there we go. Grab hold of our wires and wrap her up. Trim her off. And tuck the last of the wire in. And so there's that one finished. As I say, it's pretty long, but it's definitely dressed up, so to speak, from just the bail part. So now we'll finish this one off. Come here, you. Get out of the way. Have you ever noticed that sometimes one goes so simply and then the second one decides to be a little bugger? That's this one today. Rory didn't sing to us this morning. He's asleep on the couch, though. Okay, I should have pulled this back a little bit. This is the back. I want it to cut at the back. And then tuck it in. And there's the second one finished. Now, if I'd paid more attention, I could have probably, let's see, nope, they would end up being the same way as far as the bail is concerned, so it doesn't matter. So there they are. Our earrings are all done. Well, I have to put some nuts on the back, but I've got those up there, and I'll get those later. So there we go. They are a long earring, but that's the way they are. So let's turn back up, guys. As usual, I've gone over my hour, though actually this week I didn't on my live. We went under it, so what the heck, right? So here is, well, let's do the other one. You can see it better. See, they're pretty long. Shoulder dusters, not as long as the ones I'm wearing, but hey, pretty long nonetheless. But there we go. There's the finished earring. I hope you liked making those with me. And then, of course, we made our vehicle sun catcher earlier. So there's our two pieces that we made today. And I hope you enjoyed those. Thank you, PK. Spur of the moment. Sometimes I think that I do better on spur of the moment as far as things are concerned than the planned stuff, though I like most of the things I've planned. But sometimes these on the fly things work out really nicely. So I like both of those items. Thank you, Rosemary. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, Gina. You too. Thanks, Dorothy. Oh, Dorothy, I didn't even notice you come on. I'm sorry. Thanks, PK. Rhonda, have a nice day. Thanks, Gina. Thanks, Rosemary. So anyway, there is our two items that we made today, the earrings and the sun catcher, both using our bargain bead box Galaxy of Gems. So I had fun making them both. I hope you enjoyed making them with me. And it's 11 after the hour, so I think it's time to call it a day. Hold up the sun catcher again. Oh, Dorothy, did you miss seeing the sun catcher be made? If you did, of course you can catch the replay later to see it. This sun catcher is a vehicle sun catcher. So it is for hanging in your car. And that's why it has such a long lead string. So there we go. And then, of course, here are our earrings again with our pinch bells. Now, a lot of people just use the pinch bells and just hook an ear wire at the top and just put one bead here. I don't like to do that. I always have to dress things up. So anyway, that's been our projects for today. And I hope you all had a good time with me. It was too bad Randee was having internet problems, but I enjoyed making these things with you. And thanks, Rita. And we will see you. Well, I'll see you at I have a recorded video coming on at 10 o'clock today. I will be making a necklace and bracelets. Well, 10 o'clock my time because I'm in mountain time. So that would be 11 Central, noon on the East Coast, and of course 9 o'clock on Pacific. So if you want to go over and watch that, I made a necklace and bracelet using Softflex's Love Bug. So we're going to go for the day. We'll see you all later. And if I don't see you live again, I will be live next Tuesday at 10 a.m. like I normally am. And everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.